George chases the dragon. When the Crusaders returned from their trips abroad, they brought back many new things: spices, silks, precious stones, new foods, and, above all, they returned with remarkable stories. The greatest story of all was the tale of George and the Dragon, a tale that would eventually become England's national myth. George was a brave and flawless knight who travelled from city to city doing good deeds. One day he rode into a town where all the people were weeping. When they asked him what the matter was, they told him that their lives were being made a misery by a great dragon with a terrible drug habit. To appease the dragon, they had to give it all their pocket change every time they walked past it, which made them very poor and miserable, because the change was all they had. That day it happened that it was the turn of the king's daughter to give the dragon all of her change. She was a pretty girl, and the occasion was a particularly woeful one, because she had just had a birthday and was flush with money her relations had given her. It did not matter that she was the king's daughter, for everyone, without exception, had to draw lots to decide who would walk past the drug-addicted dragon and be menaced into turning out their pockets. George could not abide this, and he vowed on his shining sword that he would accompany her and defeat the terrible dragon. He lifted the princess onto the back of his horse, and the pair set off to the corner of town where the dragon lurked outside the bus station. The smell of acrid smoke grew stronger and stronger as they neared the spot, and when they rounded the corner, George saw it. The huge dragon lay on the ground, its great snout buried in a sheet of tin foil on which its drug smouldered. It wore a reeking leather jacket and striped tracksuit bottoms. Its face was pale and scarred, and it seemed to have lost its shoelaces. George lowered his lance and rode towards it with the king's daughter whimpering into his shoulder. The dragon saw them and leapt up in all its ruined splendour to block the pavement. George swerved right and left, but the dragon was too fast and mirrored his moves exactly. It towered over George and told him, in a voice thick with hisses and crackles, that it had eaten nothing for 3 days and needed change for a sandwich. "I will purchase you a sandwich," George said. "Accompany me to the sandwich shop." "No," hissed the dragon, "I cannot, for I was mugged around the corner from here, and they stole my shoes, so I cannot walk. Give me change for new shoes." "You have shoes on your feet," said George. He was quick-witted and sharp. "But I am saving these shoes for my long walk home," hissed the dragon. "I lost my bus ticket, and must now walk all the way. Give me your change for a bus ticket." "You want money for smack," roared George. "Have at you." With this he drew his sword and lunged for the dragon. It ducked the blow, pulled a craft knife from its leather jacket, and waved it hypnotically. The two adversaries circled each other, neither making a move. "Want some drugs?" said the dragon. "What?" said George. "Have some drugs," said the dragon. "They'll keep you sleek and trim. You could stand to lose a couple of pounds." "Bastard!" cried George, and lunged once again at the dragon, because he was sensitive about his weight. Faster than lightning, the dragon parried with its craft knife, whipped out its bag of drugs, and belched a great flame over them which shrouded George in noxious smoke. "You fucker!" said George as he fell over and passed out. George came around much later in the day to find the dragon sitting counting the princess's birthday money, which it had demanded from her as soon as George hit the deck. "Oh," said George, "I feel rather trembly. Have you got any more? Just to take the edge off, like." "Are you kidding?" said the dragon. "First one's free. Subsequent hits will cost you." "But I haven't got any money," George complained. "Oh dear," hissed the dragon sarcastically. George's blood boiled. He could take no more of the beast, and he drew his sword and advanced. "Hold on," said the dragon. "I'm the only one around here who knows where to get the stuff." An hour later, the townspeople saw a horse approaching, with a figure slumped in the saddle. It was George. They lifted him down from his mount and brought him water to drink. After a while he lifted his head weakly. "I have slain the beast," George croaked, and all the townspeople gave a great cheer. They laid on a magnificent feast for him, and after he was fed, they brought him a fresh horse and presented him with a big bag of gold. That evening George rode away into the sunset, and the townspeople wished him well, and thanked him, and applauded him until he was long out of sight. "That's funny," said one of the townspeople after a while. "He wasn't supposed to be heading in that direction." "No," said another. "He went the way the dragon used to before he bravely slew it." "Oh, bugger," said a third townsperson. A few hours later George turned up again. He looked pale and spotty, and the chainmail lace was missing from one of his armoured shoes. "Can I have some change, please?" begged George. "What happened to your bag of gold?" demanded the townspeople. "I needed it for something," George replied, drawing his sword. "Now give me some change." "Bloody hell," said the townspeople, and handed over their change. George trudged back to the corner by the bus station where the dragon lived, and handed half the money to it. The pair got royally wasted, and then set about menacing passers-by for more change. George is said to dwell by the bus station still, and legend has it that if the realm of England is ever in trouble, its citizens only need to jingle the change in their pockets, and George will appear at the very head of the English army, where he will terrify our enemies by ordering them to lend him a tenner to get the train home. The end. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and press the wee bell notification. And a huge big thank you to all my subscribers and patrons. See you next week. Bye bye.